Hey guys, welcome back to another day here at Fit Life with Alicia. It is Monday morning, it's Martin Luther King Day. My kids are home for a 3-day weekend, which is nice, and we have some fun plans for later. But I just wanted to make a quick video about some thoughts that I've had recently. Now, it is the beginning of the third week of January, and if you, like me, set some New Year's resolutions for yourself or goals for this year, I know I was pretty excited about the goals that I set for myself, but now that we're 3 weeks in, that excitement has worn off, and now it's kind of just getting down to the daily grind of doing those things day in and day out that will bring us closer to our goals. And this is a difficult time, I think, for a lot of people. A lot of us tend to fall off the wagon, if you will, by this point. We maybe haven't reached our expectations yet, or maybe we have gotten off track a little bit. And I know for me, when that happens, when I start to feel like I'm getting a little bit off track, I tend to get all the way off track. It might even be safe to say that I could be a self-sabotage expert. I have spent many Januaries excited about new goals, and by the third week in, have completely fallen off track. So what is it that is helping me stay on track this year versus all those other years that I feel like I failed? I think one of the key things that is helping me right now is dumping that mindset of perfection. Logically, I know I can't be perfect. Logically, I know I'm probably not going to do this journey to better health and weight loss and taking good care of myself. I'm not going to do those things perfectly, but somewhere in my subconscious, I still have this expectation that I have to do it perfectly. I have to eat perfectly. I have to plan my meals perfectly. I gotta get those workouts in every single day. And when I don't do those things perfectly, why is it so hard to just be okay with, hey, I messed up a little here, gotta get back on track, gotta get back on the horse, gotta keep going. Lately, I've been out visiting many of you lovely people out there in this weight loss community, and I noticed that a lot of us are struggling with some of the same things. A lot of us aren't feeling like we are reaching our potential the way we want to. We're not sticking to our goals the way that we want to, and we're feeling really frustrated. And I know for me that as I subconsciously expect myself to do this perfectly, I'm setting myself up for failure, for frustration, for anger, for all these negative feelings that kind of fill me up. They fill up my head and they kind of take over, and it totally gets me off track. Those things get me more off track than having an off meal or having an off weekend or having an off week even. It's my thinking that gets me really off track. And the thing that I've realized that I need to do, instead of dwelling on those failures or on those slip-ups or those mess-ups, I just know that I have to leave that in the past and move on. Forget about it. Yes, I messed up. Yes, I'm not going to do this perfectly, but I know that I can pick myself back up and keep going, and that's what's going to help me get back on track, back on the horse, and get better momentum. For a long time, many years, most of my adult life, I used to think that when I messed up and when I wasn't perfect and I got off track, that the way to get myself back on track was to mentally beat myself up about it, mentally abuse myself. If I make myself feel bad enough, maybe I'll get back on track. And I certainly didn't think that going easy on myself, being kind and loving with myself was going to help me. No, instead I thought if I was kind and loving and forgiving of myself, that I was just enabling the bad behavior. I don't know where that thinking came from, and I think a lot of us think that about ourselves. We think that we have to beat ourselves into submission, that we have to beat ourselves into success. I know that for a long time, I didn't think that I deserved kindness. If I don't take good care of myself, if I mess up, if I'm not doing a good enough job, I definitely don't deserve kindness from myself. That will just perpetuate more of these bad habits. But my friends, the opposite is true. As we beat ourselves up, as we hold ourselves to these crazy high expectations, that is where we start to feel bad. I know that if I beat myself up about not being perfect, if I'm angry and frustrated and mean to myself, guess what? Instead, beating myself up and treating myself terribly made me want to revert back to those old bad habits that got me to a place that I didn't want to be in the first place. But I know that as I cut myself some slack, as I'm kind to myself, as I give myself some leeway to not be perfect, it's actually easier to get back on the horse, to get back on the wagon, to get back on track, and I don't feel so miserable. This shift in my thinking is working for me, and I'm finding that I'm having success. And no, I am not doing it perfectly. Accepting that I'm not going to do this perfectly, accepting that I am not perfect and that it's okay to mess up, and just leaving that in the past, leaving it behind me, but focusing on the here and now. What is it I can do right now to get back on track? It doesn't matter that I got off track all weekend. It doesn't matter that I had a really bad all week last week and I was off track for an entire week or a month, maybe, if you will. It doesn't matter. What matters is what I do right now. So yes, I'm gonna mess up. Yes, it's gonna take me longer to reach my goals than I would like it to. But as I change my thinking, as I change my expectations away from perfection, I know that I'm in a better, healthier, happier, more peaceful place than I've ever been in my life. And that is more important, I think, than anything else. So these are just a few thoughts that have been rolling around in my head recently. Hopefully this all makes sense and it's not just a big jumbled mess. I hope that it was useful to you, and I just want to thank you for coming along and watching and cheering me on my journey. I love hearing from you guys. I love talking with you guys back and forth in the comments, so if you feel so inclined, please leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you along for the ride. It is so fun to meet all of you out there and to cheer each other on these similar journeys that we're all on. And until next time, I hope you have an awesome day. Good luck with all of your goals, and know that I am cheering for you every day as well.